Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Ryan Bledsoe was arrested. Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So Maryland resident Bryan Betancur, who also uses the name Brian Clooney and Maximo Clooney online, he's approximately 23 years old, and he either doesn't own a mirror, I'm thinking, or he's self-loathing, or he's Clayton Bigsby from the Chappelle Show. I don't know, because according to the FBI, this brown-skinned, self-proclaimed white supremacist told them that he wanted to shoot up a school. He's been thinking about that. He also said that he wanted to do a church shooting, and he thought about running people over. These are a few of his goals in life. They also say that Bettencourt had researched mass shootings, and he praised the psychopath who murdered Heather Heyer in Charlottesville, Virginia. But then he said he changed his mind about hurting people. However, they say that after he was convicted of a fourth-degree burglary in 2019, he continued to participate in these violent, extremist online groups. And in June of this year, someone on a metro train told the authorities that Bettencourt was harassing other passengers and yelling out racial slurs and making racist remarks about Black people. In addition, the passenger said that Bettencourt was holding a knife as he left the train station. And guess what? The police found him. They found him, they stopped him, they talked to him, and then they let him go. So this is after January 6th. Yeah. And it was Bettencourt's parole officer who actually turned him in for January 6th because Bettencourt admitted to entering the Capitol. He told the parole officer, yep, I was in the Capitol. And he had just gotten out of jail again in November of 2020 for repeatedly violating the terms of his parole for the 2019 conviction. In fact, he was still wearing his ankle monitor from that conviction when he committed his crimes at the Capitol. So they were able to use that to track his movements throughout the day. And they gave Bettencourt permission to leave the state of Maryland, not once, but twice, because he said he was going to go distribute Bibles with a group called Gideon International. The parole officer fell for this first in December of 2020, and then again on January 6th. So following Bettencourt's arrest for the Capitol attack, they found photos of him on his phone when he was in DC with the Proud Boys on December 12th. That was the Trump rally that they held before January 6th. Bettencourt was also seen in photos on January 6th. He was within the restricted area of the Capitol. He was holding a Confederate flag. But please tell me again how it's all about Southern pride. It's not racism. He was also seen in a photo wearing a Proud Bigot shirt, of course, and he was flashing the white supremacist hand signal. Prosecutors also say that Bettencourt climbed into the Capitol. He first climbed on the inauguration scaffolding, but then he later climbed into the Capitol, and he was assisting other members of the mob in removing furniture from a conference room. You guys may have seen those photos of them carrying furniture out of a window, and then that furniture, of course, was later used as weapons against the police. So Bettencourt was arrested again on January 17th of last year. Unfortunately, he was only charged with entering a restricted building or grounds and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. In May of this year, Bettencourt pleaded guilty to the entering a restricted grounds charge, and he was facing up to 1 year in prison, up to 1 year probation, and 100,000 in fines. However, even with his criminal history, even with all of this other stuff violating the terms of his parole, the prosecutor was only asking for 6 months behind bars, 1 year probation, 60 hours of community service, and 500 in restitution. And check this out. The prosecutor said that during the plea negotiations for this crime, Bettencourt said that his only regret was that his actions will prevent him from joining the U.S. military, but he may try to join the military in a different country, or he said he'll become a mercenary. And then the prosecutor also told the court that Bettencourt lied to the FBI agents after pleading guilty. Evidently, he told them that he only entered the Capitol for his own safety. And then he repeated the false claims that the Capitol attack was a, quote, inside job, that it was planned by law enforcement. In addition, the filing stated, quote, Bettencourt also emphatically claimed that the 2020 election was stolen. And the prosecutor said that as the FBI agents were leaving their meeting with Bettencourt, he flashed the white supremacist hand gesture at them too. And this is the first case, to my knowledge, in which the pre-trial sentencing officer recommended that the judge not give this defendant any credit for accepting responsibility. You know, usually they cut a deal and they get a little bit shaved off for them taking a plea and accepting their responsibility. The officer said no. He absolutely should not. Bettencourt's attorney, though, said, oh, well, he shouldn't be punished for his political beliefs, as if that's why he's being punished. So he was asking for only 1 month in jail. U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over this case, and he has been just pretty pathetic in these cases, I have to say. He has been just overly lenient, and this was no exception. He did say that he had never seen a pre-sentencing report in which the defendant just flat out refused to answer question after question. Judge Kelly also said that Bettencourt made a, quote, mockery of the interview process. But in the end, he choked. He absolutely let this guy off. He gave him only 4 months in jail, 1 year of probation, and the $500 restitution fee. It's ridiculous. Bettencourt was also told that he can't own a gun while on probation, which I cannot even believe that someone like this could own a gun at all. And he was ordered to take part in mental health treatment, although I couldn't find any information about the length of time. Let's hope that it is until the end of time for the rest of his life and that he's put on some heavy meds. But this case is proof positive that our laws are a joke, and especially our gun laws. They are pathetic. They serve only to protect criminals. This guy is an avowed, self-described white supremacist who's literally telling law enforcement about his sociopathic, homicidal ideas. He refuses to abide by the law. He refuses to comply with what the authorities tell him to do. And he gets basically a timeout. And we wonder why we have so many repeat offenders. This guy clearly needs some help that he's not getting. And unfortunately, because we don't have universal health care as every other industrialized country has, he can't get it unless he goes to prison or unless he's held against his will. But to do that, he's probably going to have to hurt somebody first. What a great system. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. When I hear more about this guy, I'll let you know. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.